Beaches ravaged, buildings collapsed, and infrastructure starting to crumble.
This is the worst storm that the Florida Panhandle has seen in more than 100 years.
WDRB is right in the thick of this monster storm.
Conditions are deteriorating quickly.
And the worst could be yet to come.
Those who stick around to experience storm surge don't typically live to tell about it.
WDRB's Hurricane Michael coverage starts right now.
Hurricane Michael is here, whipping the Florida coast with devastating winds, flooding, and blinding rain. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Elizabeth Woolsey.
And I'm Fallon Glick in for Gilbert Corsi. The massive storm hit around 1:45 this afternoon as a Category 4 hurricane, bringing 155-mile-per-hour winds and pushing a deadly storm surge.
It is the strongest storm to make landfall in the continental U.S. since 1992. WDRB's Mark Weinberg and Travis Ragsdale are live near Panama City to show us what they're experiencing as we see. We continue our Hurricane Michael coverage. The massive storm slammed into the Florida coast about 1:45 this afternoon.
The storm hit as a Category 4 with 155-mile-per-hour winds, and officials are warning about a potentially deadly storm surge.
WDRB's Mark Weinberg and Travis Ragsdale are live. Our Mark Weinberg reporting near Panama City Beach, and Destin Mayor Gary Jarvis taking a few minutes to speak with us by phone as this historic storm moves inland. Thanks, Mayor, for joining us today. So many people from our area vacation in Destin every year. We feel for you all right now. This storm made landfall about 80 miles east of you at Mexico Beach. So what is the impact on Destin compared to the areas near the eye?
Well, I just got off social media looking at some of the devastation in that area over there.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Elizabeth Woolsey.
And I'm Kate Springer in for Gilbert Corsi. We have several stories developing at this hour. Top Democrats targeted by explosives in the mail. And we just got a verdict in the college basketball corruption trial.
But we begin with a WDRB news alert out of Jeffersontown. Multiple victims reported at a shooting at the Kroger on Taylorsville Road. And it appears at least one person has died. We begin our team coverage with Stefan Johnson. Stefan, what are you seeing there at the scene?
And within a matter of seconds, you started hearing gunshots.
How many gunshots?
So there was one and then a pause.
Several shots. I heard at least 15 to 20. I mean, it was a lot. And then I just told her to run.
And heard bang, 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 really, really loud. And at that point, we all looked, the employees and myself, we look at each other like, what is that?
And a guy come around the corner. I just got down. He ran out and started shooting. Another guy was chasing him out, trying to get him out of the store, shooting back at him.
We basically just busted in on them and said active shooter. And that's when we barricaded the door with furniture and just got down on the ground.
And then I seen a lady right over on the other side of this aisle here that ended up getting hit. And I'm just standing right in there behind that wall. I'm on the phone with 911, and I was just giving them, kind of play-by-play of what was going on.
I didn't really realize, not thinking that you're going to hear a gun in a grocery store. So then once we got to the front of the store, there was a dead body laying out.
I walked out, and I was getting ready to start CPR on her, and I looked at her, and she was gone. I knew there was nothing I could do.
Terrible situation here, Eric. Thank you for talking with us.
Yeah, I never thought in J-Town. Never thought. So.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Elizabeth Woolsey.
Gilbert Corsi, and we are coming to you from the Kroger in Jeffersontown one day after a chaotic double murder. And right now we are going to the J-Town Police Department where we're told investigators are going to update us about what they've learned in the days since this scene unfolded.
At Kroger. J-Town is a city in mourning today. So we find more evidence.
You have been watching a live update from the mayor and the police chief in J-Town on the double shooting here at Kroger yesterday. Big takeaways, what we learned that the suspect, Gregory Bush, had no known connection to either the grocery store or those two victims.
Murder on the Bluegrass Parkway.
Hello, hello. Officer down, officer down.
A police officer ambushed. The killer still on the run.
The police car is sitting in the middle of the road.
5 years later, his widow finally wants to talk.
He didn't suffer he didn't even see it coming.
In a story you'll see only on WDRB.
My kids will never have their dad.
What helped get her through her darkest days?
I can't live, I can't go on, I can't do this.
And the message she's sending to her husband's killer.
I can't imagine being face to face with the person that did it.
WDRB News at 4 starts right now.
Just stir somebody and somebody's conscience, and they'll come forward.
Amy will attend a memorial service tomorrow morning at the Highview Cemetery where Jason is buried. She says she is so thankful for the support from everyone, officers from across the country, friends and family, and made a point to say how much it meant in the days after the murder and still means to her family today. We'll be right back.
Frankfort in fury. Angry teachers marched through Kentucky's capital protesting pension reform and education cuts. Kentucky has 120 counties and not one county school district had classes today. Now, most of those counties are on spring break. The others forced to close because of these teacher protests. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Gilbert Coursey. Elizabeth Woolsey has the day off. Much to get to today, including the potential for severe weather tonight and tomorrow. You can see that on Future Radar here behind me. Chief Meteorologist Mark Weinberg is timing out our threat. And lawmakers are overhauling the state's tax code, adding a sales tax to some services. Kentuckians would have to pay more for things like golf, pet grooming, and car repairs. We'll break down that and more. These are all big stories, and we have team coverage to explain every angle. Let's turn live now to WDRB's Chris Suter in Frankfort with those teacher protests. Hey, Chris.
Well, WDRB's Lauren Smith joining me now to talk a little bit about what they had to say about the day. It's been quite the week here in Frankfort.
No doubt.
All right, Lawrence, thank you very much. And while the drama was going on outside here this morning, there's been a lot of high drama going on inside the Capitol as well over the budget. Our Katrina Helmer joining us now with that side of the story. Katrina.
I beg of you again, respect the fact that these children belong to this community and to specific families in this community. And this is a wound that is going to take a long time to heal. And for some in this community will never fully heal.
Shot after shot after shot. Gunfire erupts at a Kentucky high school. A teenager accused of pulling the trigger. The bullets aimed at his fellow classmates. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Gilbert Coursey.
And I'm Elizabeth Woolsey. Here's what we know. 14 students were shot this morning at Marshall County High School in Benton, Kentucky. That's near Paducah. 2 of those students are dead, a 15-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl. 5 other students were hurt but not hit by gunfire.
We're told the gunman is a 15-year-old student. We don't know his name or a motive, and we don't know what's next for this tight-knit community left bloody and in disbelief. WDRB's Lexi Ratterman live from Benton, Kentucky. Now, Lexi, we heard from Governor Matt Bevin earlier. He expressed shock, he expressed sadness, but he also called this an opportunity for Kentucky. Why?
A veteran officer told a police recruit to shoot black people, then tried to keep it quiet.
WDRB's Valerie Chen uncovers exactly what the former Prospect Assistant Police Chief said and how his words came back to harm him.
From the thrill of victory to the agony of defeat.
The NCAA is simply wrong.
The NCAA hands U of L basketball the ultimate loss. 4 years worth of wins stripped. The 2013 national title gone.
But they won't remove it from our hearts and our minds.
Strippers, prostitutes, now the punishment.
We'll make other memories and hopefully win other championships, but it's not going to feel the same.
Reaction from fans, former players, and how the interim coach says this will affect the current team.
WDRB News at 4 starts right now.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Elizabeth Woolsey.
And I'm Gilbert Coursey. It is official. Today, U of L lost its 2013 championship banner, more than 100 other wins, and about $600,000. The NCAA denied the university's appeal, making U of L the first school in NCAA history to forfeit a national championship title. It is a big story, and right now we have crews throughout Louisville breaking down every angle. Comments today from U of L's interim president, coach, and athletics director, plus fans and former players.
We begin our team coverage with WDRB's Travis Ragsdale. Travis, break down these penalties for us. We know it's more than the banner. What exactly is U of L losing here?
Exactly, Elizabeth. Not just the banner that has to come down.
Travis, what else can U of L do at this point? Can it fight this decision in court?
In theory, the university could. They could file a lawsuit.
Travis, thank you. This scandal has cast a shadow for years on the University of Louisville. WDRB's Chris Suter takes a look back at the prostitution, the postseason bans, and appeals that brought us to today.
WDRB Sports' Eric Crawford has covered this extensively since it all broke in 2015. John Lewis and Tom Lane are live at the Baby Yum Center on campus. What was the reaction from David Padgett? How is the team going to move forward? Big game tomorrow night.
You are looking at a live picture from historic Churchill Downs. Race fans have packed the stands in a sea of pink with the 144th running of the Kentucky Oaks just a few hours away. Look at that infield. The atmosphere is electric. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on the special edition of WDRB News at 4. I'm Gilbert Coursey.
And I'm Elizabeth Woolsey. So excited to be here. We have a full field of 14 horses running in today's Kentucky Oaks. Post time is 6:12, so several hours to go before race time. And you can just hear the excitement, the fun, the crowds behind us having a great time. You can see the Twin Spires are decked out in pink for today's Pink Out. Of course, everybody encouraged to wear pink today to raise awareness for breast and ovarian cancer. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Elizabeth Woolsey.
And I'm Gilbert Coursey, coming to you from downtown Louisville at Waterfront Park, where the Great Lawn does not look so great right now. Elizabeth will check back with you in the studio in just a few moments. First, I want to give the people at home a look at how the swollen Ohio River has swallowed such a huge portion of Waterfront Park. You can see tires and coolers and driftwood coming from further upstream, flooding the big story today and for the next several days. A river of rooftops, roads turned to swamps. This flood making the history books.
North, south, east, and west, WDRB takes you on an aerial tour of the damage to show you the view from above.
Plus, a local man nabs a 50-pound catfish in his front yard.
What he plans to do with this whopper of a fish instead of eating it.
Mother Nature to the rescue. This video downright shocking. Watch this deer at the Galt House earlier today. Hops the railing, plunging straight into the flooded Ohio River, which actually saved the deer from face planting into River Road, which is normally a very steep drop. Witnesses say the deer swam under I-64 and they lost sight of it. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Elizabeth Woolsey.
And I'm Gilbert Coursey. Just stunning pictures today of flood damage and flood impacts. And we begin our coverage using the WDRB Skycam as the Salt, the Kentucky, and the Ohio River all gushed from their banks. And now a live look at the Ohio River. Just a couple of hours ago, Louisville's mayor declared a state of emergency, and he is asking FEMA for that extra money. Thunder over Louisville is in just 4 days, and some areas have some cleanup to do.
WDRB's Lexi Ratterman shows us a bird's eye view of what Clarksville spectators can expect. Lexi?
Tree limbs, bottles, and lots of garbage completely fill the lawn here at Ashland Park. We want to give you a view of the park from our WDRB Skycam. As we go up with the Skycam, you can get a much better idea of just how full this park is of garbage.
Crews shut down the 2nd Street Bridge today to start installing tons of fireworks on it for Thunder this weekend. You are listening to the official Thunder soundtrack, and today we see how the disco theme brought some never-before-seen elements to this year's show.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Elizabeth Woolsey.
And I'm Fallon Glick in for Gilbert Corsi. A huge news day today, and we have a lot of big stories to get to. An LMPD officer shot and killed a man they say was holding a woman down with a kitchen knife. WDRB's Katrina Helmer will play us the audio of the 911 call, giving you a better picture of what led up to the violence.
Meanwhile, LMPD canceled all vacation days tomorrow, meaning every officer has to report to work. WDRB's Stefan Johnson will join us to explain the protest and counter-protest that has LMPD calling for all hands on deck.
Plus, a manhunt for a murder suspect ends in a dramatic standoff in Lexington. The suspect was finally put in handcuffs after days on the run. WDRB's Jessica Bard will explain how a childhood friendship led to his arrest.
Incredible video here. The tallest building in Frankfort comes crumbling down. You can see that thick cloud of dust and the rubble left behind. It took just a few seconds. One day later, this is what's left of Capitol Plaza Tower, a giant mess. WDRB's Lawrence Smith explains how crews will use the old building to make something entirely new.
Not your average burglary.
They stole an empty bottle of spray.
This Eastern Kentucky man still has a lot of questions.
Who steals a cheese grater?
And police say his own cousin did it.
What got me the most was my soap.
What happened when he confronted the crook?
He stole my soap. Who steals soap?
This man is accused of hiding in a woman's van, then trying to strangle her. 32-year-old Christopher Sindler was arrested Tuesday, and you can see he had a bloody face and was wearing a pink T-shirt that said, "Hubby Chris." In court today, he was still wearing a bandage as the judge read off charges of attempted murder, assault, kidnapping, and terroristic threatening.
Have you seen this mannequin?
It's a real whodunit. Someone snatched him from a home on the side of Taylorsville Road, and now there's actually a campaign to find him.
WDRB's Lexi Ratterman explains how an entire community is rallying around the one-armed mannequin named George.
Go strap yourselves in. I'm going to make the jump to light speed.
All right, we're setting the mood for you here. Every new Star Wars film brings an excitement that can be felt throughout the galaxy.
Can you tell the people in the booth love some Star Wars? And the
A WDRB News Alert. We are just about to hear from the new Louisville men's head basketball coach, Chris Mack. The Board of Trustees just approved the vote to move him into this position following Rick Pitino's firing last fall. He's been at Xavier for 14 years, and we understand he's walking up to the podium right now after shaking hands and meeting people at the KFC Yum Center.
7-year contract is what's been reported for $4 million a year. There you see interim university president Greg Postal making the introduction. Let's listen into this press conference as it's happening.
For the next chapter. Well, you can probably guess the rest. Coach, I apologize for us beating you that day.
You have been listening to the new U of L head men's basketball coach, Chris Mack, and two things that he said that I want to point out and recap: that he will never coach another team, not another school, not another university, and that he is never afraid of a challenge.
Coach Jeff Walsh just came outside. We're going to walk up. He's talking to the media now about the Final Four and what's ahead. Let's listen in and hear what he's saying.
Plenty of rest.
Yeah. What's this mean at the third Final Four?
Well, it means we've got a consistent program here. It's not just one team. It's 3 Final Fours with 3 different groups, with 3 different teams, 3 different rosters. So it's really rewarding as a coach and as a staff to know that we've been able to continue to recruit.
She brought down U of L's banner with a book.
I don't care about U of L.
Now she says someone's trying to bring family.
I think it's really sick. Y'all go that far.
Katina Powell. Do you feel like you are the most hated woman in Louisville? Dressed in blue.
I am.
Talking fear, family, and a new book.
If something happens to mine, it's game on.
WDRB News at 4 starts right now. I think this was the newsroom's favorite story today. It got you all in the buzz. The newest member of the Bardstown Fire Department, he attracted quite a crowd today.
You'll know why the minute you see her, and these black and white spots are a big hint.
This is Oreo.
More information to
Arnie Hara began his broadcasting career in West Virginia in the early 1970s. You can tell how long he's been doing this by the Tab Cola he's drinking in this photo. And he will always be a part of the WDRB family.
Whatever we're doing here, and mix on out.
Arnie is in back right now. You can actually hear him calling the shots. He did not know that this is coming. Nearly 30 years at WDRB, nearly 50 years in television. So with our closing seconds here, Arnie, what are the most memorable moments? What do you want to say to everybody at home?
It's just, it's been a great 28 years. It's the business has changed so much. What we do in here is just so more complex and involving, and the growth in this station has been amazing, and it's just been pleasure to be part of it. A lot of great people.
What does retirement look like for you, my friend?
Oh, a little more time with the family, teaching my kid how to drive. I'm going to start visiting colleges, and more time with my wife. We just pass each other. She's going to work, and I'm going to bed and that kind of thing. So.
Okay, my friend, for the last time, count us down.
8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fade black. Take a break.